It was the crime that shocked a nation, the on-air murders of local television reporter Alison Parker and her cameraman Adam Ward. Two more victims of gun violence in America, and loved ones like my next guest are the collateral damage devastated by senseless shootings that hit too close to home. It is a nationwide epidemic that cannot be ignored.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Sandy Hook Elementary School, shots fired.
A shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. Keep hearing popping.
Doors outside the door, I don't want to move.
Okay, I'm not going to go barricade whatever doors you can, okay?
I still hear him shooting.
These children are saying there's a man with a gun. Please hurry.
They are scenes burned in our minds forever. Columbine, Sandy Hook, Aurora, Virginia Tech.
They started blowing up and shooting everyone in the cafeteria.
Once just schools, colleges, a suburban movie theater. Now battlegrounds with memorials to the fallen.
As a country, we have been through this too many times.
And just this past summer, another heart-wrenching shooting.
We have a special breaking news report. Police have confirmed a shooting.
24-year-old reporter Alison Parker and 27-year-old photojournalist Adam Ward were killed on camera during a live news report. And the woman they were interviewing, Vicki Gardner, badly wounded. Their families, co-workers, and viewers stunned. Alison's boyfriend, Chris Hurst, an anchor at the same station, had seen her off to work that morning, never imagining it would be the last time. These texts, their last exchange, a mere 3 hours before her murder. It's every parent's worst nightmare come true.
My heart is broken. She was our bright, shining star that this guy extinguished. I just want to be able to touch her soul now, and I can't do it.
2 more lives lost, leaving the people who love them to wonder when this senseless gun violence will end. Joining me now are Alison Parker's boyfriend, Chris Hurst, and her parents, Barbara and Andy, and our hearts are broken for you as well. I mean, as a mom, I can't even imagine this, and as a journalist, you're not the first parents, I'm sorry to say, that I've interviewed who've lost a child to gun violence, and I don't think you're going to be the last. I don't know how you've been able to cope for the past 2 months. It's been exactly 2 months, and I'm not sure what you hold on to during that time to get you through every day. Andy, can you help me understand?
Meredith, is tough.
Yeah.
It's very tough. What I miss the most is we talked every day. I mean, every single day.
She made a point of calling you every day.
And she would call, and we would text, and I'd say, great job, Scooter. That was my nickname for her. And, I'm not going to have that anymore. But she's with us. We've been busy. She's with us always. But that's the toughest part, is just not hearing her call and seeing those texts from her.
We're comforted by the fact that she accomplished so much in the time that she was here, and the time that I got to know her just this past year. I mean, she was a dancer and a swimmer. She was a calculus tutor. And she was just a wonderful daughter and an amazing, amazing girlfriend.
And you had just given her a promise ring a few days before she died.
Right.
So what has been hardest for you then, Chris?
Waking up every morning, because while I was asleep, she was at work. And I would always wake up to texts from her, sometimes a Starbucks order to bring her to the station. But there's that little moment when you wake up before you really realize that you've woken up from a dream. And it's those precious few seconds where I don't know what's a dream and what's real. And then it hits you every single day.
The man who murdered Alison and Adam, he has been identified before. You asked that we not give his name, and we will honor that because you don't want him to receive any more notoriety than he already has. But not only did he do these killings in front of a live camera, but he had his own camera on him, own video camera, and then he posted the material. You have never seen. I've seen all around the world. You have never seen it, and I understand never will.
No, will not.
Yeah.
We normally, because Alison was on so early in the morning, we would just watch her hits. Online.
Later, sure.
Exactly. So we never saw it, and like I said, we never will.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for us to even go back and watch air checks from her. She was on TV every single day. And it's very difficult for us to even go back and watch some of the work that she did prior. Hearing her voice is still very traumatic.
Chris, you talk about traumatic. You actually worked with this man. He worked at your station. Were there ever any red flags? It's easy in retrospect to see them, but at the time?
A red flag for what?
Yeah.
To become a murderer? I don't know how you identify that as a layperson. I think that that's the real challenge in our country, is how do we identify people who are approaching dangerousness to themselves or someone else? He would say things and get upset. He would interpret what people were saying to him in a very harsh, negative manner. I've since come to learn from talking to people who were closer to him that here was a man who was not loved by his family, who was not loved by others. He did not have an opportunity to love someone else like I was able to love Alison, and then that turned into hate. He was created.
Yeah, and it took the lives of two people who were greatly loved.
And he actually was with the station when Alison was an intern there the summer before her final semester in college. And even her comment was just that he had a chip on his shoulder, but nothing that could
suggest
ever
anything
make
like
us
this.
think
Yeah.
could
Well,
happen.
after her memorial service, you all had a very private goodbye at a place that always meant a great deal to her, Andy.
We, as a family, we were kayakers. I mean, we were big paddlers, and one of the best places, and that we loved going as a family. And she just sort of, for whatever reason, she loved that place more than any, was the Nantahala River. And you know, there was a gazebo as we would paddle by, and we introduced Chris to the river and to paddling, and you know, there was a gazebo, beautiful spot on the river, and they said, you know, this would be a great spot to get married. And it was that last weekend, you know, we thought, we had visions of, this is where they're going to get married.
And that's where you scattered some of her ashes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was so Alison, when Alison and her brother both went away to college, I gave them some little pewter tokens to carry with them and always keep, and I actually brought what they were, and we sprinkled these with her ashes in the river, and they were a heart for love, a peace sign for hope, an acorn for a long and happy life, an angel to watch over you and the world because its future is in your hands. And we still feel like the future's in her hands.
What do you want us to understand about Alison's legacy?
Well, her legacy is secure. Right after this happened, we established a scholarship at James Madison University, her alma mater for the School of Media, Art and Design, and it's at over $187,000. So future journalists will benefit from this.
It's the largest in the school's history and the fastest growing. Thank you.
And I want to just, as we go to break, she just received this Emmy Award.
Last night. Just got an Emmy Award.
This was not how she was supposed to win her first Emmy.
No.
Of course not.
No.
This is the Ted Yates Award that's given out by the D.C. chapter for the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Ted Yates was a documentary filmmaker for NBC who was killed during the Six-Day War in Jerusalem back in the 70s. And now we have, unfortunately, seen this now come home.
Exactly.